and potentially found one. There was actually 3 in the street departments area, but 2 did not.
Might as well. I mean, that's part of maintenance. That's what they do.
Well, the 3 that happen to be missing are right there at State Street and Monroe.
And those are missing. I'm sure some are damaged. I wasn't here last month. Was that part of the discussion too?
They're just missing. The lids are missing.
Right, completely missing.
Completely missing.
But there are some that are broken, I'm sure.
We didn't see any that called out and said, "Hey, that we needed it."
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the 3, and if you can find one that the one fits, please do that, and I'll approve up to 3. I'll second
Anybody's motion, any second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Audio.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Yep. Jen?
And we have $123,148.98 in the bank at the moment. Everybody hopefully did the right thing by Friday, pay your taxes, so we can get an allocation. It's another 6 to 8 weeks to, we'll be fine to get to the allocation. So, but there were no disbursements in April.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's a treat. Okay, any questions for Tom? We have a motion to approve his minutes, or his, on report.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have 2 invoices, 5, I have 2 vendors, 5 invoices, for approval for this meeting. One is the Encore Higher Electric, replaced a light bulb near Flagstar. We now have a bill, we have already received the insurance check in advance. So, actually the bill, don't tell anybody, it's a little less than the insurance check. So we're okay on that one. But that bill is $8,950. And then we have 4 invoices from Amy, Property Service. Services 422, 430, 56, and 500 per week, 2,000 total. So total invoices for approval is $10,950.
And the insurance money doesn't show up on our financial report though, right? That's not part of the budget.
I believe it did. It happened so
Last year.
ago. We got the check in December of 23, 10,990.
So it is part of the 120.
Yeah, it's in the 123 number already. Yes.
Motion to approve the claims.
Next motion, a second. A second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else, John?
That's it.
Okay, we'll wait until Craig gets back to go over maintenance. Flowers and planters, that would be me, and with Reynolds Floor this week, and they are going to start doing the and so they're gonna do more weeding this week, or next week coming up, and then go planting after that. And they do the, there's kind of how many planters we actually have, and which ones we're planning on taking down that we know of right now, to see if they should plant those or not. And they're trying to figure that out. Other than that, I think that's it for our planters. Brad?
I don't have anything on trees, but I think we have somebody who's gonna come and talk about trees.
Yes.
That'd be a good time for it.
Hi, my name is Tucker King. I'm the Assistant Director of Engineering. I kind of handle our tree-related workflow here at Newton City. And I understand that, and I don't know the full distinction, but the trees within the bid district are separate from the trees within the rest of our city somewhat. So you guys have jurisdiction over the trees within the bid district, from my understanding. Is that fair?
That's fair, but usually we work along with the city with whatever project they're doing.
Yeah, but when it figure out a way to get you guys into our workflow steps, essentially to make it so that you guys can have approval for trees that are within the bid district. And then also inform you on how we currently receive requests and maybe find a way to get it so you guys can request trees more easily or something to that effect. So currently the way the tree workflow works for us, using our online permitting portal, you can go, citizens can come in, they can create a request form. It's under the Engineering and Building Services Department. It's called the tree request form. When you fill out that request form, it asks you a few questions related to the location of the tree, what kind of work you're looking to do, if you want it pruned or removed, or currently we don't have a planting option, but that's something we're looking to add now that we have money to start planting trees again. And then once that application is submitted, it gets triaged up to the engineering department, either our permitting coordinator or Jamie Novak, our assistant project manager, or myself. And we send it on to, if it's, first we just make sure it's within city limits and things like that. Sometimes we get requests for people outside of the area, or we make sure the tree is within the city's tree lawn or whatever, because there's trees in people's backyards and they think, it's a hard distinction sometimes. So anyways, we approve it, and once we know it's our tree and everything like that, we send it on to Phil Graff, currently, who's our contracted arborist, Great Lakes Tree Care. And Phil then goes out, he waits, every week he goes out, so then every week he has a list of, 5 trees, whatever, that he goes and checks, at which point he makes a determination whether it needs to be removed, pruned, whatever his determination is. At which point it's sent back to the city. If it's approved, if it's for removal or pruning, it gets sent to the tree crew. If there's no action needed at this time, it just generates a little sheet essentially telling the person, hey, this is the reason why we think the tree is still healthy and we're not going to do anything with it or whatever. For bid trees, since you guys are looking, it's not that you're looking for approval because we want to include you in that approval. I was thinking that the step after fill would be shared between an account that we would create on that approval website for you guys. We'd get you guys a login or something to that effect. And as trees within the bids area get sent to us, we have a way to tag them, and when they're tagged, they'll be incorporated into your inbox or whatever. Does that sound like a fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, are you receiving many, how long's the website been up and running?
A little over a year now.
Okay, have you received many comments about the district trees?
I think in that time, maybe we had 2 trees that occurred within the bid district.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea to keep us in the loop.
Yeah, it seems to me that, we have money to do trees now. Technically the bid district is within the area that we are looking at for planting trees. It's approved, so it might be something that it might become more beneficial in the future for us to have something, an easy way to communicate on this sort of thing.
Sure, and Jim, I'll defer to you on the long-term plan. I don't know how many trees we're going to be planting in the next couple of years, right?
Yeah, or removing too, we have money for removal now as well. I know that in the past, the city hasn't been able to maintain pruning schedules as well, but if that's what the money is supposed to help us get onto a more sustainable tree management system essentially, so that trees that need to get out can get out, and it won't hold us up from keeping our pruning up to date or anything like that, so.
Because currently, do we have anything in place where the trees are evaluated aside from them being reported that something needs to be done? Or
So-
does someone, look at them?
Yeah, so Phil is the person, the way that the contractual arborist relationship works, Phil reviews all of the trees before they're worked on because it creates it helps us with the liability of the situation, Phil's a certified arborist, he's been working on trees for 30 years, he's gonna know better than someone that we can hire now at least to do so, at a better rate for the city.
No, I'm not saying before we work on them, I'm saying
Yeah.
without them being reported.
Oh, no, so we are working on, Phil's company is being hired to do another survey of our tree canopy here in the city. So after a certain amount of time, all of the trees in the city should hopefully have some sort of risk assessment attached to them. That we're hoping that process will be done by September. So by September, we might have a report available to you guys for all the trees within the district, hopefully.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that's our goal, at least. Yeah, and if your portion of it gets done before then, I'll let you guys know. Yeah. Other than that, I just wanted to see if there was some kind of workflow that would work for everybody, essentially.
Yeah, if I can get either after the minute or after the meeting, I'll get your email.
Yeah.
To exchange contact information.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't know if we'll set up like a bid district account or if we'll make one specifically to your email, just send it to your email, it doesn't really matter either way. The system that we use allows us to create as many users as possible. Yeah.
Because I received correspondence for you guys, so.
Yeah, and Craig does already have an account, so we can do it that way as well.
Yeah, so long as we're just kind of looped into it.
Awesome. And then, should I ask about the electrical question now, or is that, I mean, okay. So I have a quick number.
We had a request from the people that run in farmers market and Councilwoman Julie West, who I thought was gonna be here, but she's not. To take a look at repairing some outlets in within the street right away, along Monroe.
Yeah, so,
And Tucker has been working with Jamie in the engineering department to do an assessment and to determine how many outlets we think need to be repaired, and then we're working at, they want to get quotes for that work. So you collected the information, I think, regarding that.
yeah, so we went out with an electrical tester today, and there's 16 along that route. Of those 16, 7 of them aren't working.
These are the ground mounted ones.
Yeah, actually 8 of them, so one of them's missing, that was a tree one, and then along the route, 2 within planters are not working and 5 within tree wells are not working at all, so that's 8 in total. And I think we were just looking at so the first farmers market's May 26th, they were looking to get it fixed before then, hopefully, it's up to you guys obviously on that.
How many were in the planters?
What was that?
How many were in the planters?
2 were within planters and 6 were within the tree wells.
Okay, didn't we have the issue with the electrical also being cut to the planters?
Not necessarily.
I have a map too, I probably should have brought that with, I apologize.
Good question, I don't know. For those 2 that are in the planters, the question is whether or not the actual electrical to the planter has been cut.
Oh, yeah,
Because of previous work done in the planters.
well, yeah, because they're also where the
Yeah,
zones were for the.
yeah, because remember when we did the irrigation, we had an issue with the electrical lines that basically died.
Yeah.
Because they were cut in a lot of cases, so barring that being, he would be able to tell.
Yeah,
I would be able to tell if that's the issue or not.
well, so of the 16, 5 are within planters, 3 were 2 do not.
5 were within planters and then
5 were in planters, 3 of those work, 2 of them do not.
Oh.
So,
So that may or may not be able to be fixed.
yeah, And
that might be a bigger issue, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's bigger than you can fix between now and.
well, and I would think a vendor, if they were accessing one, wouldn't necessarily go for the planter, they'd probably go for the tree well since it's more, readily available quickly or whatever, I don't know.
How many were in ground?
7
Tree wells.
or 6 were within tree wells. There are 2 that are working, but I don't trip on them, I don't know if that's an important distinction to be made or not. They're working, just not at full capacity, I guess, is a good way to think about it. But 6 in total are in the tree wells. 1 is missing and 5 of them are just not working.
So what, okay, so 5 are not working? Wait, so you have 16 total that aren't working?
16 total working,
Oh,
16 total, 6 are working, 2
okay.
are working at like half capacity essentially, 7 are not working and 1 is missing. Sorry, could have written that out there.
Are you looking for permission to do this or for payment?
I guess, if we had a general idea of what a do not exceed this amount might be for the work, that way we could at least pursue it potentially.
I guess the problem is that we've been taking them out of the tree wells as we've been going on, and some of these we may have even disconnected ourselves.
We've done that in Lincoln Way, but we didn't do that on the road for this reason.
Yeah,
I just know that this came up, when one of the planters was being worked on, and,
So the planner, we may not be able to do anything about it if it's not working.
but when the planter was being worked on, having some of them also worked on, so I guess we just need to determine if we're going to do this or not, because we've gone back and forth about, especially the tree wells, if they flood, if they don't work, if they get kicked. There's been a lot of vandalism to those, so we have been taking them out as they quit working.
yeah, some of them are just like tipped over essentially, they're not in the greatest shape, that's for sure.
The ones that are out there, the ones that are most important are the ones on the pro. Because of the farmer's market, and then these are just the basic 110 outlets that we're talking about. So we did some repairs last year, as you recall.
Yes.
So we're coming to you in advance this time.
Thank
And so we're looking to do another round of repairs, basically on those same 110, not those same, but that same area of 110 outlets
Yeah, and
on the street.
I will say that the outlets that don't work are older receptacles, the newer ones are usually the ones that are working.
Are you 16 like down State Street, because you said you didn't have a map, are they Lincoln Way?
It's between, so you guys end at the halfway block of Washington Street, like where an alley would be essentially. So it's from that alleyway at Washington Street essentially, or
Next to Bennett's,
yeah,
the old Bennett's building.
yeah, so it's essentially there, all the way up to the, I guess.
I'm trying to remember if we have information how much we paid last year per outlet.
I think it was like around $800, but that's because we went with M4, I would say. And if I remember,
$800 per outlet.
I want to say something like that. No? $800 total maybe?
I don't remember.
Down Lincoln Way, it seems like it's 1,000. And then it seems like it's like 200 or 300 an outlet.
I think that's right. I think it was something on the
I thought it
order
was
of
around like
300 at most per outlet.
Yeah, but so obviously we have multiple possible vendors to do this with, and we would obviously choose the most price appropriate.
Well, that's actually the issue that we've had in the past, especially in that area, was actually getting a vendor to do it.
Yeah,
Because there's been multiple issues with,
I think
Those
Stefani did our
lines.
Lincoln Way.
I think we want Stefani to do it as soon as possible.
yeah, I think we reached out for a preliminary report, we just didn't get anything today, or else I would have got that number.
Looks like we did, last time Doug did this for us, we did 5 tree locations costing $750.
So it
2
seems
years ago, sorry, it was 2 years ago.
in this instance, I would assume that a lot of these are on the same circuit, it's not a circuit that's bad, because it's, every other one, it seems like it's the receptacle
Let's be
itself.
safe, maybe 200 an outlet, just to, cost increases.
Yeah, so 200 if you were to repair or replace the missing one if that's what you chose to do, and then the seven not working ones, that would be 8 altogether, so it max $1,600 to do 200 an outlet.
If they can do the ones, because we don't know.
Yeah, it could be less depending on if they can't repair certain ones, you know.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and repair the outlets on the road. Because we don't know what's involved. I'd say, not to exceed 2,000. So,
Yeah.
So, and I can't tell the guy who's work, but I take the easiest ones first, and then we get to the difficult one, then we stay there. And, just.
So, I mean, Doug's, if
Yeah,
you're able to work,
Doug's
if
smart.
you're able to work with Doug, he's really, he's
Yeah.
working with, obviously, so.
Yeah.
I'll second that motion.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you, thanks for the information.
Yeah, and I'll definitely get an email, we'll get it together after this.
And Craig, we did skip maintenance.
Oh, sorry, I forgot something for
Oh,
maintenance.
you're this one, you're fine.
So, okay, so a couple of items for maintenance, and one is kind of related to the other, but first off is you had sent out with the agenda, you had sent out the, request for people to take a look at their own blocks with
Yes.
regard to pavers. I wasn't sure where we were with that. And if you've got any responses, because if not, I need to get on trying to figure out how to do an assessment of where we haven't done it. So if we
Okay,
can complete that, and I can get Paul's out there to give us an estimate for where we think we, need to make, where the significant areas are that we need to do repairs.
I did not get any responses back, and with that, is there the possibility that we can all take our own blocks or our surrounding blocks this week?
Yeah, I went and did my part.
Okay.
I didn't have anything.
Okay.
And I mentioned at the last meeting, brought up Dallas and Jefferson, Verizon, our office.
Yeah.
There's a lot of areas that need help.
Yeah, that's supposed to say,
Okay.
okay,
Because I know the mayor's gonna be on this about doing some repairs before 4th of July.
Yeah.
Again, and so now is definitely the time to get going on it, so, if nothing else, I'll follow up with you, and then if not, I guess I'll fill in the blanks with, however we can figure it out.
Could you go by Google's in the Enzo area and look at those? Okay,
They're bad,
okay.
yeah, there's a few bad areas, especially in front of, Smutzer's and a little bit in front of Ogles and some, there's a particularly bad area in front of Smutzer's. I think we have a cone or a barrel out there, if I'm not mistaken. So, okay, we'll follow up on that, and I'll talk to Paul's and get some estimates. The other major issue, I talked to Liz about this briefly, but I'll give you guys, if you could share a copy per side. I'll start with the attorneys. I don't know what the extent of the liability is here, so that's me in the conversation, but we received correspondence from the management company for the Rumley Hotel.
I didn't put this out, but,
I think you did, but I brought a few copies. I think you sent it out with,
last month's meeting minutes, or
okay,
last month's
okay.
meeting.
So essentially what this is it's a complaint with regard to the condition of the pavers. There's some issues here that we've already addressed, but you can see pictures. And this goes along with the conversation that we're gonna be having with, with Paul's. I'm not sure to what extent our liability, how far our liability as a bid board extends. We've taken care of the tree issue, we've taken care of, you guys did an emergency vote to approve cutting the branches back, we've done that. Oh yeah, so you do know about this, because you did the emergency vote. The rest of it has mainly to do with pavers because of concerns about tripping hazards. We've already gone out and sprayed the weeds or the moss and the stuff growing in the cracks of the sidewalk. But what it boils down to then basically is the pavers and the curbs. I don't think the curbs are the bid district's responsibility, because that was a city project that was done separately from the streetscape. It was or it wasn't, I'm not sure, but, the big issue is the pavers, so I just wanted to know, do you guys want me to get some estimates from Paul's for what it would take to reset these areas that they have concerns about? Mainly it has to do with areas around tree wells, from what I can tell. And some of them have just settled over years. The other big thing, and I don't know how we want to handle this, is there's a missing tree grate. At least one missing tree grate. Completely missing, I'm not sure why.
Weren't some of those taken out? Taken out?
Yeah,
The residents say, yeah, planters are plants in it?
I don't know that, but I thought we took out a few.
So,
I think a resident.
you know, the missing tree grate, I don't know how much liability that is or isn't.
Is there a tree?
There's a tree.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a tree in the tree, in the tree well.
Yeah, but what the gray fit around the tree is a tree. It's not great.
Maybe. I don't know, I wasn't here when it was removed, so I don't know. You know, so the pavers are pretty straightforward. I can just talk to Paul's about getting an estimate for the repairs, for the concern about tripping hazards. And I guess Jim and Brad, I'm looking for your guidance on this a little bit, but, you know, you see the pictures, you can see where the, you know, where the pavers have settled around the tree grates. I'm assuming that we do need to address that.
Is this the situation where we look at doing the stamped concrete?
Yes.
Especially with it being the seniors and walkers and all that stuff. And wasn't that cheaper when we did that by the bank?
It was.
And we were putting it,
Or
we were
even-
putting it in somewhere else just recently as well.
Or even plain concrete, just because that's the direction we're going with most of the downtown.
Versus spending your money twice.
Right. Yeah, I would talk to, unless Paul has a reasonable solution to bring the grade up.
My instinct is it's gonna be cheaper to do the concrete.
Correct.
And I think that would remove a lot of the ADA compliance issues and stuff like that, so I think that would be a better option, especially with wheelchairs. Because from what I've heard, that using wheelchairs on the brick can actually be really harmful to their back and whatnot, and more difficult in general. So that seems like that would be a perfect place to do the concrete
And I
signs.
think it was gonna be less expensive than we got on the other repairs we were doing.
Okay. Now so that, I can look at both options with him and see what he recommends. But the fact that we're looking at replacing these with concrete anyway, might be the right way to go for a certain distance around them.
Yeah, I think the part of the concern, whether it's stamped concrete or whatever, is we don't wanna start just looking patchwork. But if we're looking ahead and the idea is what we're doing over there is ultimately gonna be in line with
What we're doing.
what we're doing in the future.
Right.
Even if it's just part of it, I mean,
Yeah.
it also then that's justified the expense of doing so, as opposed to having to do it twice.
Right, so that way when the streetscape's done, we're not bringing up the concrete we're gonna be putting in now, but instead preserve the bricks.
But I don't know that a missing tree grate is necessarily a liability.
No,
I don't think, because there's a lot of downtowns that don't have tree grades.
there's no tree grate right outside of the city hall.
Yeah.
That's 'cause
And there won't be on the design that we have going forward.
Yeah, no,
I'm not as concerned about that.
Worst case scenario, you fill it in with extra dirt, just make sure there's no root to it.
Yeah, okay.
I think one of them was the tree was taking it up or something that was in it, made the person just take it out.
yeah, because we've had a few in the downtown that we've had to do that way,
Like
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so the only remaining issue then is the curbs.
The only time I recall us dealing with a curb was where we had an incident over on State Street where one of the plows broke a piece of curb off 10, 12 years ago. And that was more us dealing with our contractor to work with the city. I don't think we've ever done any repairs ourselves or directed any repairs on curbs.
Yeah, because I know you guys do pavers, benches, trash receptacles, parts of lighting, landscaping.
Yeah, where the curb is related to the street.
Yeah, is that part of the street or is that part of the sidewalk?
No, it's related to the street.
It holds the edge of the street. Okay, well, I'll get started with Paul's on the pavers and or concrete. I guess I'm kind of leaning towards the concrete myself.
And then also he can save any of the pavers he takes out for repairs elsewhere possibly.
Okay,
If it's concrete, then you need to talk to the paving excavator.
yeah, I can talk to Katie.
But he uses, some contractors that use, both the ones that do the sidewalks.
Right.
That's true.
Okay,
And then now while we're on the subject of doing the concrete, the area that is by the laundromat, that whole area, between the laundromat and Grandma's House Pancakes, that area is pretty much disintegrated. And that might be another area, especially around the crosswalk there, that might be another area to consider doing the concrete.
yeah, although we're doing, I'm trying to think, I'd have to look and see what particular type of intersection that is. I don't have the plan with me, so as far as the cross section for that specific spot. Okay. All right, well, I'll talk to a combination of Paul's and paving and see. I'll give you options.
Great.
Thanks. And then I'll also continue working with you on the
Consider too, since this is coming from a complaint from the management company, we probably want to keep them in the loop, especially if we're replacing pavers with something else, right? That way they understand the reason behind it.
I don't think they're gonna be opposed.
I don't think they'll be opposed to it at all. I think it locks up.
Communicate back to them, yeah.
Okay. Well, we just needed to have the meeting to decide a direction, you know, well, we can say we're aware of the issue, we're working on addressing it, you know, we discussed it at the meeting and we're gonna take steps to make some repairs. So I can convey that.
It could be, that's one of the wider sidewalks in the bid too, isn't it?
It might be,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, so maintenance wise, that's all I have for this one, I think.
I have a question. Has Paul's gone, does Paul's have a copy of the downtown design packet that we're going to go to?
I don't know if they do.
Okay. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea for them
Yeah,
to
we have that.
have a copy of it, so then that way, when they're, pardon?
And
Anything else?
Yeah,
yeah, that's not a bad idea.
so that way, when they make suggestions, they can make suggestions that are more in line with what we're going towards.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I'm also still waiting for more information on the, well, you guys approved the one repair, for, light bulb tonight, I think. Yeah. You just did that while I was downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we already addressed that. And I think we're still waiting for information still on the, planter, in front of the courthouse. Don't have anything more on that yet from the insurance company, so that's all I have.
Thank you, Craig.
Thanks.
Jim, anything with welcome to say?
Yeah, just, and Craig, you can chime in, but, Craig's in the process of Hitchcock Design with the firm we use to develop the streetscape design. We're gonna be submitting to the city, RFPs for an alley which doesn't involve us, but a test block. And Craig's working with them to figure out a good test block to kind of show the final product in one lot for us to look at, so that's in the works. Craig, I don't know, is there?
Yeah, so what I would say, I was supposed to meet with them today, I had to reschedule that because of the grant deadline, I'm trying to meet right now, a major grant deadline. So I'm gonna be rescheduling that for you later this week or next week to talk about, picking the alley, and picking a section of streetscape to do a test block in. And then working with most likely the redevelopment commission to, consider the funding for that, and then like Jim said, we were basically trying to use that as a test block to see what we like, don't like, what we need to tweak, et cetera. So that's what's happening there. And then we are in the process of establishing 2 new TIF districts. One on the south side of the city, called the Boyd Boulevard TIF, and the other one, the 39 North area as a TIF. And the way that our TIF districts in the city are structured, we can basically spend money that we receive in any TIF district, in any portion of our TIF districts. So we could use money from those other areas to spend in downtown. And what I want to analyze is the possibility of starting to strategize one of 2 things: when we start to receive some of those new revenues, and when the hospital property switches from being an urban enterprise zone deduction to becoming back a part of the TIF again, going back on the TIF rolls, starting to strategize how much streetscape you can then bond for each year or in chunks going forward. So I'll hopefully have some more information about that coming soon, that we can start to do some more planning and thinking about what, but likely none of this would probably start before, as far as I can tell, probably wouldn't start anytime before 27, we're thinking at this point, because of the way the revenues are working. So we'll have to continue to limp along until then, probably, because I don't see any major sources of funding coming along unless some grant becomes available that we're not aware of. But for now, that's the current thought. So
I think big picture, I'm not gonna have a lot of reports under my committee moving forward, but it's good to keep it on the agenda because the rubber is gonna meet the road at about the same time. It's TIF dollars and what the budget will be coming in at about the same time bids would be up for renewal.
right.
And so we gotta keep thinking about the timing of that in this bid district and the boundaries too.
Yeah, the hope is that we have a plan in place as far as some idea of how much we can spend each year for this infrastructure replacement to accompany that discussion.
Right.
Are we looking at going west with the district then, to the hospital area?
We haven't even gotten to that,
Okay.
that level, but that's certainly part of the discussion.
We did in our streetscape plan indicate the possibility of that and kind of outline including the hospital in that in west along Lincoln Way. Just for the purpose of, future planning if that were to happen. But obviously there's a process we have to go through to be able to establish that.
I think calendar year would be probably 2026 would be like a big one to have budgets and what our boundaries are, and us as a board recommending to the council if we want to keep going or not.
And that's when do we expire, which year?
I can't remember it.
I think you expire in 29.
20, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was.
It's after 27, I know. When
I remember it was the end of 28 or the end of 29.
Yeah, I think it was new in 2019. If I'm not,
That's about
I
right.
think that's when it was, yeah.
So the time.
Renewed in 2019, sorry.
So that would probably be the end of 28.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
So I guess these next 18 months, probably not a lot of action, but getting ready for 26 would be my guess when budgets, boundaries and all that should be for a monthly discussion. That's all I had.
Do we have any old business? Do we have any new business? Do we have any announcements?
Two children.
So,
We have a motion second, all in favor of adjourning? Opposed? See everybody on June 10th.